Everyone. Recently, there have been a lot of hype related to GLM-2 in the industry, mentioning that a lot of engineers in Silicon Valley have started using GLM 5.2 because of because it is cheap, and there are some security concerns related to privacy, and right for that they are hosting it on their server instead, not relying on Chinese servers, so that Chinese server can't send their data onto the server. But people have started figuring out ways to use it. So, but why is it so? Let's dig deeper. First, we'll go through the article at high level to understand what is the thing, the hype about. So rather than visiting the hyped article, we would just straight go into GLM 5.2 article itself. We can clearly see that 1 million token context they have started allowing. Earlier models were not having this case. And then which see the benchmarks for long horizon task evaluation, they are still behind Opus for Frontier SWE, but they are way beyond Opus 4.7. So that's a very big leap. And post-train bench and SWE marathon. Uh, in SWE marathon, they are lagging behind 4.7 as well. And here they have again lead uh, this, right? And we see LLM evaluations. These are 8 benchmark SWE-bench Pro, Terminal-Bench 2.0. First SWE-bench Pro. In that, Anthropic is a leader right now with 4.8, but they are chasing. So people are saying like might be in 1 month or 2 month they may Chinese model may surpass the Anthropic as well, but we'll see to it. And then Terminal Bench 2.1, FVC, this is GLM model 81, and Anthropic is again 85. Similarly, this is just a gap. This gap is there, and this is again a gap. This one is sort of similar, and so on, right? And they have mentioned like agentic coding performance by effort level. So this is average output token per task and score. So if we talk about minimal token and giving maximum score, so they have Cloud Opus 4.8, which I feel is this, and 4.7 is this. They have anyway taken a leap out of this. From this to this, they have done quite a good jump. Architecture. So basically, they have taken a leap some scenarios to GL Opus 4.6, but not all the scenarios, right? I guess in coding, it's still deleted. And the architecture they have shared, which is LM head, MTP head, and they have used some new technology, which is index share, wherein they are reusing the indexes somewhere. And they have shared the architecture related to it, token embedding, hidden state model, hidden state from MTP layer first step, and so on. Baseline acceptance, this is 5.1, registration sampling is this end-to-end, GV loss is this, efficiency serving this. A GLM 5.2 extends the maximum context length from this to this, coding workloads are expected. I guess this is a great tip now started supporting this. Produces per token computational of does not proportionally reduce per token percent. As a result, supporting longer contexts, higher concurrency, and higher token throughput under limited CPU resources becomes a critical central challenge for inference engine optimization. Slime for agentic RL. The agentic RL post-training of GLM 5.2 holds tasks at a larger scale across more domain and more complex execution patterns. RL for long horizon tasks with anti-hacking. What is this? We call this long horizon task produce substantially longer execution traces. And once a super long trajectory is split into action into multiple different rollout under the same prompt yield different number of trainable traces. Anti-hack encoding coding especially vulnerable to reward hacking because the reward is typically a verifiable pass or fail signal. We find that GLM-5.2 shows more potential hacking behavior than this. This makes it easy to optimize but fails to actually improve the fundamental capability of model. Agent can read protected evaluation artifacts, copy answer context from references and upstream commits and directly fetch the target source in this. For example, agent may download this. I guess this language seems familiar. We have read this sort of Mythos models. So not sure what's happening there. Like in the earlier DeepSeek cases, even Anthropic has publicly said that they have uh, Chinese models are distilling their model. So seems somewhat true given the directions and the wording that we see. But anyway, like Chinese models are doing a lot of research. It's not easy to copy and then take over from there. And here we have a comparison of GLM 5.2 with 5.21, QN, Minimax, DeepSeek. Oh, they have shown their benchmark, and then Claude Opus 4.8 and this Gemini 2 3.1. Gemini models are, I guess, only good in reasoning so far. But so if we see this, this is the leader. For this, they are same. For this, GLM is leading, and then again this is leading. Then this QN is leading, and GLM and so on. Here again, in most of the cases, this is leading, and it is chasing around, right? And in terminal bench 2.1, it is leading. So it is somewhat there, not exactly there. And there are other articles and other things that we can. Let's see if we can like validate something. We could build anything out of this. Uh, we could build a block system. We could build a questionnaire system, right? Or we could build any, right? So let's see. Deep think max and high. Max is by default, okay. So we would say, let's say we want to build a questionnaire or a survey system which allows us to do versioning. It allows us to shuffle the screens, and basically it allows us to create a questionnaire funnel wherein there could be a group of questions, and then each group can have multiple screens and each screen can have multiple questions, and within each questions we could have a follow-up questions, uh, right? And we could support multi-select, single select, number system and other inputs. And we want to make sure that we allow nesting. Like let's say if I choose a single select, I might ask on a particular choice of a single select, we should open a multi-select to ask a follow-up question. We want to build some system like this with which we can make multiple, let's say, treatment launches. By treatment, I mean like let's say want to launch for weight loss, ED, any others. So let's see if we can develop it. We want to build a system like this to facilitate like this questionnaire, which allows us to do versioning, which allows us to configure the screens, questions, groups, and it gives us all sorts of flexibility. There is a very Okay. Help us build a system which allows us to launch multiple surveys wherein we could ask a set of questions to a customer and we could group questions. So basically, if I could visualize it, it would be like this. There would be a survey which could have a multiple groups, and each group could have multiple screens, and each screen could have multiple questions. And even each questions can have a follow-up questions. And in between, like when we are starting a group, we could have some intro. And once a group is finished, we can add some exit, right, to congratulate that you have completed the one questions and so on. So we want to build a flexible system like this so that we can launch a service back to back and we can configure any type of questions set and maybe like we allow members to upload image, we allow them to do single select, multi select, ask follow-up questions beside it or put their own comment and enter their BMI and so on. Please brainstorm on it and suggest what we could do. So if you see, help us build a system which allows us to launch multiple surveys wherein we can ask a set of questions to a customer and group those questions to visualize that there will be survey that has multiple groups. Each group would have multiple screen, each screen would have multiple questions. Even individual question could have a follow. Furthermore, when starting a group, we could have an introduction. Once it a message to congratulate the user in the questions. We want to build a flexible system like this so that we can launch service back to back and configure any type of questions. We would like to allow members to upload and perform single select, ask follow-up questions. This is brainstorms. Ask follow-up questions when applicable. Don't assume anything. You should ask the clarifying questions before considering the plan as complete. So let's get started. Let's see how it goes. So now it has asked some questions. Let's try to answer that. This is an excellent initiative. Building a dynamic config-driven survey engine is much better than individual surveys. It allows your product and research team to iterate rapidly without requiring engineering for every new survey. To achieve this velocity, we need to design a schema engine. The engine will treat surveys dynamic rather than fixed database table. There is a high level of how we can structure this system, followed by essential clarifying questions. So we need a hierarchical JSON friendly data model survey, top level container 2024 customer health profile represents a thematic section, contains intro and exit message. A pagination mechanism within a group contains a subset of questions. The actual prompt has a type like text, image, upload, email calculate, follow-up rule, logic tied to a question. The question A answer is then options B. Right? We should build a modular questions type library. Each type will have its own UI component and validation. Single select a multi-set renders as a video button, checkbox and drop. Option can be defined inline or central options below. Image upload needs file handling, front-end crop options is free text, front-end survey player, user experience. State management must keep track of users' progress. Conditional rendering as the user answer question, the player instantly evaluate the follow-up rules to determine the If more question needs to appear on the current screen before allowing them to hit next. Admin or builder UI, a back office interface where team builds service, usually organized groups, screens in question. A UI to set up follow-up rules like this. Test the server exactly as the user will see it before publishing. Data collection and analytics. Store answers in a store. Users are clarifying question to understand. I need to understand specific. Can a user pause a service and resume its data? If so, do we need to auto save their progress on a keystroke? So for this, STT, yes, user can pause and resume it later, and we need to auto save the progress. We need to auto save the progress. Can a user navigate backward to previous screen to change their answer if they do and their change invalidates a follow-up question they already answered? How should we handle the exam? Delete the follow-up answer on the user. So answer is yes. When you say follow-up question, do this appear immediately on the same screen below the triggering question, or do they appear trigger a new screen? Both are applicable. Can follow-up questions themselves have a follow-up? Ideally, we should keep that no for now. Later, we can extend it. Do we need a skip logic? If this is select no, skip the rest of this group and jump straight to the exit message. Yes, user can skip the group or a particular question. For the BMI question, do you want the system to ask for this and this system calculate the BMI? Or do you just want a numeric text field where the user types in their BMI? User would enter height and weight and we would calculate the BMI. Are these user logged into existing system or will this service stay into? Ideally, member can fill the survey in anonymous and there might be some screens which require log. For example, we might ask them to enter their address or make the payment. In that case, we can first prompt for doing login and sign up and then do that. So ideally, it would be a combination of anonymous and logged in. Do you need to restrict service to specific? Yes, might be in future. For now, we can ignore that requirement. Do you have existing tech stack, front-end framework, back-end language, database that we must integrate into? If starting from scratch, do you have a preference? What is the purpose of image upload? It can be anything. For example, if we are getting a survey for hair loss, we may ask member to upload their current uh, hair loss situation. Do these images need to review admin before being accepted or they instantly save? Since PMI and health data are considered sensitive, are there specific compliance standard the system needs to adhere to? So we have provided major answers to the question that were asked. Let's wait. We have received some questions, I guess again, or some idea. Let's review that. Thank you for the detailed answer. This gives us exactly what we need to design a robust, flexible system. Since you want to be easily integrable to any site, the best approach is to build the survey player as a embeddable widget like a chatbot or a floating pop-up. The backend as a standard API. Here is the comprehensive plan and architecture. Survey player, React bundled as a web component. This allows you to drop a single script tag onto any website and render the survey inside a shadow DOM so it doesn't clash with the host website CSS. Backend API Node.js with Express sharing TypeScript type within the front end widget, and PostgreSQL is a perfect for this. We'll use a standard table for user and response, but leverage this column to store the complex server schema. File storage AWS S3, solving the core complexity based on your answer. Here is how we handle the trigger requirement: auto save and resume later. When a user starts survey, we create a survey session in the database. We attach a unique session ID in their browser. As they type or select option, the front end debounces. Wait 1-2 seconds after they stop typing and sends a silent patch request to the backend updating their progress JSON. If they close the tab and return, the widget reads this and fetches the saved data and places them. Backward navigation validation for user can go back, follow up, Coinbase the same screen or trigger new screen. We need a state machine on the front end. Just if user goes back to scheme and change an answer from yes to no and no triggers a skip logic. you must delete the invalidated follow-up answer. UX will instantly clear the invalidated data in the background, but show a subtle ghost notification. Your previous answer have been cleared because you changed an earlier response. This prevents data corruption without confusing the user. Hybrid authenticated to handle the requirement where user can start anonymous but be prompted to log in for payment address. The service starts under anonymous. This link to a browser or fingerprint go in a survey. You can mark certain screens with the flag like this. When a player hits this screen, they pause the survey and shows this. Once the user logs in, I can merge the anonymous this with the this. Even though we aren't doing nested follow-up, we still need a unified logic in the service. Every question scene can have a rule array. Right? The database schema like this, step-by-step foundations. Uh, right? The plan is I just one questions regarding BMI calculation to ensure UX support. You need to should the BMI calculator allow the user to toggle between this, or do we strictly enforce? So I would suggest for this, allow toggle. Please make sure that we have correct segregation between front end and back end from the start itself, so that it is ready for scalability in future as well. We should only keep things which should be ideally kept in the front end, and we should ideally handle major logic and computations and everything on the back end, and we should create a scalable system, right? With this many conversation, I guess this got stuck, and it is suggesting we should try turbo. Not sure how good or how bad is turbo. We don't see any article related to turbo. Should we try that? Ideally, I guess no. Even it is starting a new conversation altogether. We can possibly change thinking to uh, I maybe. So got it. Allowing a unit toggle for BMI calculator is a great choice. And we would keep thin client and fat server. And we would move major things to a backend. And it would do rendering, capture, debounce, auto save, UI level validation only. The new interaction flow. User starts survey, front end calls this, backend creates a session and returns the first screen's manifest. User answers questions one, front end calls this. With this, uh, backend processes validate this. User goes back and changes this, and this text stack. And I could suggest one more thing. Let's see how does it understand this. This is brilliant addition. Structuring the URL dynamically not only makes the system incredibly flexible for different business verticals like this, but also opens the door for multi-tenancy and localization like the PHP. This is how we integrate the URL structure into our this. Let's break down the proposed. There is this TH is tenant, local, top level cut. The segment can represent a region, a specific partner, brand, or top level domain. Weight loss business aspect campaign. These dynamics identify the specific vertical and server category. Standard routing prefix question section. Divided the specific question being viewed, specific screen being viewed, front end versus back end. The lightweight router. They load on this, it parses this parameter, it sends an initial request to the backend, and this backend receives this. So we introduce a mapping layer this, how this scales. So we can say, so we are elaborating it more. Again, we got peak hours. Either people are using this heavily, or maybe like they have very limited resource. So, like from the last conversation, I just asked like, how can I pass all the details so to a new session? So it gave me this prompt, which I put into its agent because this is a chat and chat won't be able to deliver it. But now I see like agent did spend 10 to 15 minutes to create something like DB, readme, we can see examples, Prisma, public, and then there is a SRC having hello world, home, layout. I feel right now it's very dummy thing, and it has carousel, drawer, and this lot many thing. So it spent around 10 to 15 minutes to do this, and it has not yet reached anywhere. Like I cannot see anything, and I don't see any option to give feedback. This is the agent, right? I don't see any option to give feedback. So I feel like we are stuck here right now. Maybe like it's not suitable for very complex problem statements like this. We can later try with a simpler problem statement. In this, I see it has just copy pasted standard boilerplate code. There is nothing related to what I asked for. So we would stop here because we are not finding any path forward. The only path that I can see is we start again from a small delivery and then build on top of it. So we'll take a pause here. And this was the exploration of GLM 5.2 that we did. We were able to find something in the conversation at least, but we wanted to take that conversation forward and build something valuable, which we could not. So that is what it is. Thank you. I hope like there is no value or nothing that I'm trying to create. It's just exploration that I wanted to do. and might be it inspires you to explore things as well. Thank you.